Security agencies in Manipur are warning of a rapidly escalating conflict, which has now expanded beyond local clashes into a multi-layered crisis involving hostage situation, armed mobilization, and cross-border militant activity, and emerging concerns over drug trafficking routes. The situation has been triggered by a hostage crisis involving 6 missing Naga men allegedly abducted by armed Kuki groups in Kangpokpi district, with parallel retaliatory detention reported on both sides. Security forces say efforts are underway to trace the missing persons as tensions continue to flare across districts. Officials trace the root of the conflict to a series of incidents beginning with village-level clash in February, which quickly escalated into organized armed confrontation across Kangpokpi, Kamjong district, drawing in militant groups and local volunteer forces. The violence has since spread towards the Indo-Myanmar border with attacks in the Kamjong district, raising concerns over the involvement of Myanmar-based armed groups, cross-border militant networks, and shifting drug trafficking corridors operating through the region. Authorities say the competition over drug smuggling routes, particularly alternate corridors emerging alongside traditional moray trade pathways, has added to a new economic and strategic layer to the ethnic conflict, intensifying mistrust between the groups. Authorities also point to fear among both communities over attempts to establish territorial corridors of influence, further hardening ethnic fault lines and increasing retaliatory attacks. The crisis has now intersected with political demands, with groups calling the separate administration, arrangements for Meiteis, Nagas and Kukis as the violence continues to destabilize large parts of the state. So the crisis has now destabilized large part of the states. All authorities also point to fear among both communities over the attempts to establish a territorial corridor of influence, further hardening ethnic fault lines and increasing retaliatory attacks. The crisis has now intersected with political demands by both the groups, the Meiteis and the Nagas, with groups calling for separate administration arrangements for Meiteis, Nagas and Kukis as violence continues to destabilize large parts of Manipur. The Manipur violence that began in 2023, authorities say the competition over drug smuggling routes, particularly alternate corridors emerging alongside traditional moray trade pathways, has added to a new economic and strategic layer to the ethnic conflict, intensifying mistrust between groups. And authorities are also pointing out that there is fear among the people, and the violence has since spread towards the Indo-Myanmar border as well, with attacks in the Kamjong district, raising concern over the involvement of